The Morning Drive is sponsored by Power Metallic. To find out more about the company, please visit their website at powermetallic.com. Follow the Money Investor Group is a 100% Indigenous-owned company and certified with the Canadian Council for Aboriginal Business.
Paul.
Good to see you again.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining me on another morning drive.
Yeah. Yes.
So I'm taking you to the airport for context for the people watching or listening. And you're going on a work trip.
I am, a long one this time. We're just over 3 weeks of travel this time. So lots going on for the company these days.
Okay. Well, just for the audience, for context, my daughter's in the back here, Bobby. Sometimes she joins me, as you know, for some morning drives. But so she peeps in today. Don't be surprised by that. So you guys, the company's recently put out some results. It seems like you're building momentum.
Yep.
You want to kind of.
Yeah, we're on our Kossou Gold Project, the one that's in Côte d'Ivoire. We've been working on this since 2016 when we first picked up the property, but really in earnest since we went public. We've drilled over 35,000 meters of drilling on the project, most of it diamond drilling, a little bit in the first year of RC drilling, but we're doing diamond drilling for the most part. This year we've got 2 rigs that are turning as we speak. And yes, we've been putting out a number of different results over the last couple of months when we restarted drilling again. So yeah, good results. We're drilling our main target, which is the Jagger zone and the Road Cut zone. Those are the 2 areas that we're doing most of our drilling on. And good results. I mean, we're certainly proving the model. We're working our ways towards a resource model, we believe, hopefully sometime in early next year. And the results keep pouring in, and we keep getting good encouragement on those.
Now you do have some, I think, big mining companies in the area, right? What's going on with those companies, and have you had any communication with them when you go to PDAC, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, our nearest neighbor is Perseus Mining, so they're literally by road. They're literally 9 kilometers from our key target. So that's the opportunity that we're looking at. I mean, they're mining through their deposits. In fact, they just finished mining their key pit, the CMA deposit, at the Yore mine site, and so that's the one that has excellent deposit. I mean, good grades, very very consistent grades in the ore body. Very consistently. The structure is very strong and very through going. But they've basically depleted that pit. They're moving now to an underground deposit that is an extension of that shear system that they've been mining from the open pit. Grades are okay, about 3.5 grams per ton on that. But the problem is they've only got about 500,000 ounces in that deposit, and they're obviously mining it much slower as it's an underground deposit. From open pit, they're moving to what they call the Yore pit, which is a pit that's just further to the west of where they were doing most of their mining. And that's a bit more challenging of a pit from what we understand. Grades aren't quite so good. It's not quite as consistent of a deposit. And so we believe there's going to be an appetite for our mineralization. Again, only 9 kilometers by an already established road to their facility. You can see their production profile dropping over the next 5 years. And so we think that's an opportunity for the company and our shareholders. Hence why we're so focused on drilling off the project and trying to get this thing moved along as quickly as we possibly can going forward. So yeah, lots of good news. We're also doing exploration on the rest of the property, and we're getting some geochemical targets there that are going to be, going to require some follow-up over the next few months and into next year for sure. So it's a good project. It's got great logistics, location. It's got a lot of positives going for it. We just got to do our work and try to get this thing across the finish line.
Okay, so moving forward now, what could a potential new shareholder expect the company to continue doing? And are you going to be doing a financing at some point? Obviously, you've been raising money through the equity market. I don't think you have any debt on your balance sheet.
No debt, no.
So where are you at with that?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep pursuing the Cassu project. Again, that's our primary target. Well, that's where we think our best opportunity is as we speak today. We are doing other exploration. We have our Côte project, which is about an hour and a half to the east of Cassu. We've been doing a lot of soil geochemistry, a little bit of mapping, sampling. We're just getting into a trenching program on that, but the exciting thing there is it's a 300 square kilometer piece of ground. No one's really ever explored it before. The geochem anomalies that we're picking up are looking pretty good. I mean, we've got 4 good, well-defined targets now. Most of them are in excess of 500 meters to a kilometer in length. The grades on the soil sampling is in excess of 400 parts per billion gold. And just to keep in context, a decent anomaly would be anywhere from 30 to 40 parts per billion gold in that environment in West Africa. So these are, turning out to be pretty good-looking targets. There's one in particular that I'm excited about. It's about a 1.3 kilometer, kind of oval-shaped anomaly that's pretty consistent. So we don't know what's going on there yet. There's not much outcrop out there, unfortunately. So we're going to have to get a trenching machine in there and get some trenches in on that. But yeah, it's exciting. That's really moving ahead, I think, quickly, and hopefully we can generate some drill targets there for this coming year as well.
Okay. The last time that I had you on this segment on the morning drive, the gold price was probably it might have been under $2,000.
I think it was, yes.
And it's just a question and a conversation that I have to have with anyone who's looking, developing, or producing gold.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, we love it. I mean, obviously the producers are loving it. They're, everybody I think is at or near their highs. Mining costs have come up a smaller increment. I think the all-in sustaining cost for most mines, or average mine right now, is maybe $1,000 or $1,100 an ounce. So I mean, these guys are making a lot of money. They're putting a lot of money into their bank accounts. I think that's going to drive merger and acquisition activity going forward. Again, we think hopefully that will spill back onto us over the next 12 months or so. But yeah, I know it's pulled back a little bit. I think it's come back up again. That little pullback seemed to put a little bit of a feint into the market. It seemed like there was a lot of enthusiasm and it kind of waned a bit. And I think that's normal. I mean, gold's obviously done extremely well over the last couple of years. And so any kind of pullback, people kind of go, well, are we at the end of it?
Yeah.
I don't think we're at the end of it. And again, at these prices, there's a lot of money being made in the mining industry. And so I think that's going to drive it forward. I hear people talking about $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 gold. I have no idea.
Yeah. And
honestly, I don't think, I'd love it, sure. I think it would help us and every other junior and every other miner out there. But at $4,000, $5,000 gold, if we can sustain those levels for the next few years, I think there's a lot of opportunity out there for juniors and majors and intermediates, and I we certainly want to be part of that opportunity for people and our shareholders and the new shareholders that we bring into the company.
Yeah. Well, the way I kind of look at my take on the market over the last 6 months really is you've had the gold price surge. It's been a huge surge over the last year, and then equities weren't really doing anything, and then all of a sudden, the producers were taking off, which makes sense, and then developers and juniors saw a nice uptick.
Yep.
And then the gold price ran, and if you look at the high, like we're not that far off the high, but,
right.
But wherever the high was, it was 43 something.
I think it was 43 something.
Yeah. It was only there for a day.
Yeah.
Right? It was only there for a day.
Yeah.
And then it went just below 4,000, and it fought back up, and it's staying there in and around that mark.
Right.
But equities have pulled back, like a lot of equities pulled back 30%.
Yep.
25%.
Yep.
So that's a pretty big pullback. And a lot of people I know on that run up that were like, I don't want to chase it. Now they have an opportunity in this consolidation phase to go, you know what, I'm going to watch some morning drives, I'm going to read some research papers, I'm going to listen to some X spaces, I'm going to do this. And it's like, okay, these guys have taken profit. I shouldn't say guys. These investors, speculators have taken profits. There's been a decent pullback now.
Yep.
And you can assess the macros and look if you think this is going to be sustainable. And people can decide what positions they want to take for another run.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a typical cycle, I think, in terms of, taking money off the table. You know, I think it's the right thing to do. I don't think you should give up on the sector, though. I think the smart money will come back in at lower prices. You said there's been a pullback. We've been hit personally. We don't control it, obviously. We're doing our best to fight it, but our game plan hasn't changed. We're getting results. I think it's a great opportunity now for people to pile into Kobo Resources and pick up some stock at a fairly reduced price compared to what we've done our last financings at, and continue this ride with us going forward. So yeah, we're frustrated a little bit, but again, we're very focused on what our goal is. We continue to push forward on things. We think there's a huge opportunity here for people to get involved again with the company.
Well, let's continue on that value proposition for a new shareholder for you, because what were the last financings? What was your market cap or the stock price, and where is it now?
Last financing we did back in, I guess it was July, we did the 30-cent financing. That's the money we're using now to drill our program. We've still got I think $1.5 million, $2 million in the bank. We will be drilling through probably till Christmas. And we're a junior. Yes, we're gonna eventually have to go to the market. Unfortunately, we don't have any income in the company. But yeah, right now we're down considerably. We're down almost, I think we're 23 cents a share from that 30-cent financing. Again, the story hasn't changed. I think there's opportunity here for people to come in at this price and hopefully do very well in the stock in the short term. But again, we see this as at least another year in the market where we can grow the business, grow the model that we have at our Cassu project, and hopefully trigger some kind of business deal with our neighbor. That's still our goal.
Yeah, prove it out, show them you got the ounces.
Yep.
And understand and prove the economics, and then
yep.
Hopefully.
And I should mention too, I mean, we're doing that Kotabé project, which again I really like, but we're also pretty aggressive in the country as well. There's not a ton of what I would call juniors in Côte d'Ivoire. There's a lot of mid-tier guys and a couple of the big guys that are in there, but there's not a lot of juniors doing exploration work. And we've been there 10 years now, almost 10 years. So we know the playing field, we know the players very, very well. We just picked up we think a very promising project, again, more to the southeast part of the country, what we call our Yakase project, which we're still getting the approvals for that permit. But that was an old project that Newmont had back, prior to 2010. We don't have access to the drill the RC chips, but there's a number of holes on there, some pretty good hits, 20 meters at 4 grams, 40 meters in the 2 gram range right from surface. Again, it really hasn't seen any exploration in this latest phase, so that's another, we think, a very exciting opportunity for us moving forward. And again, we're just talking to a lot of different people. There's lots of local business owners, mining guys that have projects that don't have the capacity to raise money to do the work on them, and the government is becoming more strict on making sure that if these guys have these projects. In Côte d'Ivoire, you've got a 4-year license, and you have to make certain spending requirements each year in your exploration program. And if you don't make those expenditures, then at the renewal time, the government has become very serious about removing these concessions from people.
Because they want you to be productive.
They want to move the industry forward, and they're really trying to encourage the local business community to get involved. So we've had a lot of good conversations with local business operators, both on the technical side that would like us to help them move their projects forward, and actually from the investment community in Côte d'Ivoire now that are seemingly more interested in and more able to actually participate in equity financings going forward. So that's something new too that we're kind of excited to take advantage of as well.
Are there any other developments in that area? Do you go to any specific seminars or conferences about that area?
Well, last year the government, the Ministry of Mines had their first mining convention. So we did participate in that. We had a booth there. We had a talk there as well, and we were just there rubbing elbows with people as you would do at these kind of things. So it wasn't it's not like PDAC. There's not 30,000 people, but for a first convention, I think it went very, very well. It was very well received, and I think the plan is they're going to have them every other year, not every year. And so we'll certainly be involved in that. I think there'll be one at the end of 2026. So usually it's in December. So we'll definitely be participating in that as well. It's just, again, it's a small community. We know everybody, but it's a pretty good opportunity to meet with people and just see what else is going on out there in the country.
Yeah. Any changes at all to the team or any new board members?
We brought on a new geologist, a gentleman that was 10, 15 years experience was with Rocks Gold earlier. He just wanted a change of venue. Good guy. He's basically running our Cassu project at the moment. So he's been added to the team. Again, we're trying to do everything internally in terms of our technical staff. Chris Pickin is our exploration manager. He's still with us, going on 4 years now, I guess. So again, Chris is based in the UK, but spends a lot of his time at site. In terms of board members, I guess since we've last spoken, we've added a couple of people. I think the critical one there is a gentleman by the name of Brian Scott. He was the senior VP of technical services at B2Gold. Brian and I go back, to our early days. We actually worked together our first years in the field together. We worked together at Echo Bay Mine. So I've known Brian, for many, many, many years, and he's an excellent geologist. Really drove a lot of the project acquisition side of things for B2Gold, and also helped with their resource reserve calculations and things like that. So really good geologist, very smart guy, very tuned into what the mid-tiered majors are looking for in projects. So he's been a great addition to the team as a director. And also last year we brought on, or I should say this year, but it fermented at PDAC, this past PDAC, Clay Postlethwaite, who is the ex-senior geologist for Ghana for Newmont. And he basically, the last 3 years of his stint at Newmont, he was sort of leading the charge of doing project evaluations in West Africa. So he and Newmont cut ties last year, and we've been talking to him for 3 or 4 years about our projects. I approached him and said, look, we'd love to have you on as an advisor. He was thrilled to come on board. PhD geologist, same age as me, but has a strong drive to still find something. So he's been brought on as an advisor, and he's helping us, basically screen through project evaluations, and just having access to the people that he knows through his Rolodex, I think is going to be very helpful to the company going forward as well. So yeah, we're again, every time we do something, we're trying to do it methodically and with a purpose, which is just to increase our bench strength and make the company stronger as we continue down this path.
Fantastic. So we're only 12 minutes from the airport now.
Yep.
My last question for you would be, this trip that you're going on right now, what is the purpose? What will you be doing and accomplishing?
Well, we're going to be, going to, first stop is back to Côte d'Ivoire. So we're going to the Cassu project. We're going to be doing a review there. Again, we're doing some, we're doing some geological modeling. We're in the middle of that drill program, so we're going to review what's going on there and kind of plan the next month or so on that drill program. We're also going to be doing some metallurgical testing, so we're just getting some proposals in on that right now, and I hope to be able to trigger that work this week as well. So we'll review all those, those proposals. We'll go over what we need to do in terms of picking samples from both the Road Cut zone and the Jagger zone, and we'll get those underway. Just checking a box. If we can show our neighbors or anybody else for that matter that this stuff has good recovery, is amenable to a simple process, that obviously is an important aspect that these companies look for. I mean, you can have the greatest number of ounces in the world, but if you can't get them out of the rock, they're not worth much to you. So we want to be able to show the world that we've got good material, and we expect we do. I mean, it's very similar to the to the mineralization next door. Same belt of rock, same style of mineralization, same alteration style. So we're not expecting anything negative out of that. But again, we have to do the work to do it. From there, we're going to London. We're going to be participating in the Resourcing Tomorrow conference. We were there last year. It was a very good conference. So right now we've got 3 days of meetings. I think we've got over 40 meetings lined up for those 3 days. So a pretty jam-packed schedule.
Sure, that's good.
And then we're coming back down to Côte d'Ivoire from there. Again, we've got some more meetings with people that we just weren't able to fit in on the first phase. And then we've got a couple other things that we're going to be doing when we're in Côte d'Ivoire with respect to some other projects that we're looking at. So it's going to be a long trip. My wife wasn't the happiest with it, especially since I'm going to be missing her birthday. But she understands the importance of what we're doing, and hopefully it'll be a very successful trip, and we're looking forward to having some good meetings in London and seeing what we can do going forward.
So I think the game plan is to, when you come back, the holidays will be right upon us.
Yep.
And so we'll be obviously doing that, and then we'll be probably sometime in January, maybe January, February, we'll be getting an update on our X-Base platform.
Yep.
So I encourage everyone to go to the company's X handle and, of course, follow us if you haven't already. And we'll be asking you questions about this trip and see if there's any news out. And if there is, we'll be talking about that.
Yeah, well, there should be some news. Like I said, we're going to be drilling at least through the end of this year. So there should be a good flow of news results on the drilling that we're doing. And stay tuned. There's some other things that we're working on that I think could be game changers for the company as well. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build a company here.
All right, a little teaser there.
Yeah.
How long's the flight?
Well, I got to go to Montreal where I'm meeting Ted, the CEO, and then it's about a 7.5, 8-hour flight to Brussels, and then it's another 9 hours to Abidjan. So it's a long, long day of travel.
Do you know what time it'll be when you get to your final destination?
We'll get there about, I think it's 5 or 7 o'clock at night local time, which is, I think they're 5 hours ahead of us. So it's a good 24 hours of, probably 26 hours of travel to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pretty bagged when we get there, but we'll get to a hotel, have a good dinner, and get some sleep, and then up to the project the next morning.
All right. Thanks for joining me on the morning drive.
Good to see you again. Thanks for everything. Look forward to the X Spaces in January.
All right. Safe travels.
Thanks, sir.